Good morning. This meeting is called to order. Mr. Strowman, does anyone sign up for public comment? Thank you, Mr. Strowman. Good morning, Ms. Miller.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
We have no cases to reconsider under agenda item 3.
Correct, no cases.
All right, on let's see, agenda item 4, we have 2 tax cases, I think, to consider on docket 16.
Good morning. Sorry. Good morning.
Morning.
You do have 2 tax cases before you today on docket 16. The first case is TD 21-017-0721, Commissioner Demerson.
I agree in part with the recommendation and disagree in part. I agree that the maintenance worker is not in the company's employment. Concerning the fence installers, the installers are free from the company's direction and control in several important ways. They set their own hours, do not wear company uniforms or insignia, use their own paid workers to do the work, use their own equipment and tools, do not report the progress to the company until each job is finished, invoice the company, may freely accept or reject jobs, can and do work for other companies, and must give advance notice to the company when terminating their contracts. In the alternative, I could also agree that the fence installers are in employment based upon the fact that they are doing the work of the company and are at least on paper, subject to non-competition, non-solicitation, and non-recruitment agreements that at least theoretically could limit their freedom to pursue their own business without regard to the interests of the company. With regard to the maintenance worker, though, we should find that he is not in the company's employment.
Commissioner Trevino,
I agree with staff's recommendation.
Chairman Daniel.
Agree with staff recommendation.
And just a second, I want to make sure that we're solid on that.
Okay.
No, I don't have any, no dissent on that. Okay, thank you.
The second case is TD 22-027-0822, Commissioner
I
Demerson.
agree with staff recommendation.
Commissioner Trevino,
I agree with staff's recommendation.
Chairman Daniel.
Agree with staff recommendation.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have no fair housing cases under agenda item 5.
We do not.
All right. Let's see, no wage claim cases on docket 16 pulled for additional discussion.
That is correct. None pulled for additional discussion, but you should have received the wage claim short form dissent list for docket 16.
I'll move we accept staff recommendations on the remaining wage claim cases on docket 16.
Now, I second the chairman's motion, except for the cases on which I'm dissenting is reflected in the wage claim short form dissent list for docket 16.
I concur with chairman's motion, except for those cases on which I am dissenting, as reflected on wage claim short form dissent list for docket 16.
Motion passes with the exceptions noted.
Thank you.
Let's move to agenda item 7, consideration of unemployment insurance cases on docket 16. Please proceed when you're ready.
Case number 2780244, Commissioner Demerson.
We should reverse the appeal tribunal decision. The employer's social media policy prohibited employees from disparaging the employer or its employees. The claimant was terminated when he made a racially insensitive social media post against the employer for not allowing a day off from work. Since the record shows that the claimant was aware of the employer's social media policy, the claimant's conduct of disparaging the employer through his social media post was mismanagement of his position of employment. As such, we should reverse the AT decision, misconduct, no chargeback, adequate employer response. In the alternative, the commission should rehear this case. First, the record was inadequately developed to ascertain whether the claimant identified the employer by name on his social media platform. Furthermore, we need more information to determine whether the claimant made his post while on duty during work hours. Finally, we should ask the employer to provide its social media policy for review. Thus, the commission should rehear this case to further develop the record regarding the issues noted.
The AT decision is supportable. The employer has presented insufficient evidence that the claimant's actions constituted misconduct connected with the work. The claimant was unaware that his post on his private social media page could be subject to him to the immediate discharge. and he was not given a copy of the policy in writing until the day of his discharge. The claimant did not name the employer or any specific employees in his post, and there was no evidence that the claimant had made the post while he was supposedly to be working. The claimant's previous warnings were issued for unrelated reasons over a year before his discharge and were too remote in time to support the finding of misconduct. Affirm the AT, no misconduct, chargeback.
Affirm the AT, no misconduct, chargeback.
Short form dissent.
Yes, sir.
Case number 2851158, Commissioner Demerson.
The appeal tribunal decision should be modified. I do not contest the good cause issue as it relates to the claimant's non-appearance at the AT2. However, in regard to the claimant's non-appearance at the AT1, the claimant failed to appear at the hearing because he did not update his address with the commission. Such a circumstance was within the claimant's power to control. As such, the claimant did not have good cause for his non-appearance at the AT1. Concerning the job separation, the available record supports the conclusion that the claimant stated that the claimant, a truck driver, acknowledged he had driven for someone else. The employer explained that his policy was put in place to avoid DOT violations regarding mandatory rest periods. Therefore, the claimant's actions constituted work-connected misconduct. Accordingly, we should modify the AT decision. The claimant had good cause for missing the AT2, did not have good cause for missing the AT1. Misconduct, no chargeback, sever adequate employer response.
The AT decision should be modified. The claimant established good cause for missing the AT1 and AT2 hearings because he did not receive either hearing packet before the hearings. Regarding the separation, the claimant denied under oath that he had worked for another employer while working for this employer. The employer's hearsay testimony was insufficient to prove otherwise. Looking for other work is not evidence of misconduct, and taking a pre-employment drug screening for another employer while off duty is not misconduct. Modify the AT. Claimant established good cause for missing the AT1 and AT2 hearings. No misconduct, chargeback, void adequate response.
Modify the AT, claim established good cause for AT2 and AT1, no misconduct, chargeback, void, adequate response.
Short form dissent.
Yes, sir.
Case number 2958585, Commissioner Trevino.
The AT2 decision is not supportable. There was a lengthy delay in scheduling the employer's appeal for the AT1 hearing, which was not the claimant's fault. The claimant had stopped filing payments requests for 5 months before the AT1 hearing was scheduled and did not know that he had to update his address with the commission. It took over a month after the decision was issued for the U.S. Postal Service to forward the decision to the claimant's new address. The claimant's appeal was late because of delayed delivery of the AT1 decision. Reverse the AT2 decision. Deem timely the claimant's petition to reopen and resubmit for merits.
The appeal tribunal decision should be affirmed. The claimant filed his Rule 16 petition to reopen beyond the applicable deadline to do so. There are no good cause exceptions to the timeliness rules. Because the claimant filed his petition late, it should be dismissed. We should therefore affirm the AT decision. Untimely claimant petition to reopen, leave the underlying decision in full force and effect.
Reverse the AT, timely petition to reopen, resubmit.
We will resubmit the case.
Case number 2962618, Commissioner Trevino.
Due to Winter Storm Uri, the claimant could not work for 1 week from February 15th through February 19th, 2021. During that week, many TWC offices were closed and many individuals were without power. Messaging from TWC informed individuals that deadlines for filings were extended. The claimant first filed a claim for benefits the following Monday, requesting his claim be backdated to the week he was without work due to the storm. Instead of backdating his claim, his first claim was voided. The claimant filed a subsequent claim on April 8th, 2022. And this claim before us on August 17th, 2021, seeking backdating. In the interest of administrative efficiency and to prevent injustice, we should backdate the claim before us to February 14th, 2021, the week in which the claimant was without work due to the storm. Reverse the AT, valid claim, backdate the claimant's August 15th, 2021 claim to February 14th, 2021.
The appeals tribunal decision should be affirmed. The claimant stated that during the week he filed his initial claim, he worked 40 hours at his regularly hourly rate. The employer stated that the claimant has not been separated. Accordingly, the claimant was not unemployed at the time he filed the claim in question. Should therefore affirm the AT decision. The claimant did not file a valid claim.
Affirm the AT invalid claim.
Short form dissent, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Case case number 3222383, Commissioner Trevino.
The AT decision is not supportable. The claimant was harassed while working with the employer and properly reported the behavior to the employer. The employer took no steps to resolve her complaints. Instead, they issued the claimant a performance warning. In response to the warning, the claimant sent an email again attempting to resolve her harassing complaints. The employer responded by firing the claimant. Attempting to resolve legitimate complaints with an employer does not constitute misconduct. Reverse the AT, no misconduct.
The appeal tribunal decision should be affirmed. The AT was in the best position to determine the credibility of the parties and ruled that the claimant committed work-connected misconduct by threatening the employer if the employer did not pay her enough money. In addition, based on the employer's testimony, the employer felt that unless it complied with what it described as the claimant's unsupported demand for severance, the claimant would disparage and harm the employer. As such, the claimant's actions constituted work-connected misconduct. Should therefore affirm the AT decision misconduct.
Affirm the AT misconduct.
Short form dissent.
Yes, sir.
Case number 3244249, Commissioner Trevino.
The AT decision is not supportable. The underlying issue in this case is whether the claimant worked customary full-time hours. The case involves the issue of validity of claim and therefore falls within the exception of the timeliness rule in Rule 32(i)(1). Reverse the AT, timely appeal, and remand.
The appeal tribunal decision should be reversed on timeliness. The underlying issue in this case is that of customary full-time hours, which could be construed as validity of claim issue and therefore qualify as a one-time exception to the timeliness rules. Accordingly, we should reverse the AT decision on timeliness. The claimant filed a timely appeal, resubmit.
Excuse me, sir. There has been no testimony taken on this, in this case yet, so there's nothing to resubmit. This was an order of dismissal, so there's been no hearing conducted yet.
Okay,
So it would need to be remanded to develop the record.
all right, so we'll strike resubmit.
I'm sorry.
So we'll strike resubmit.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
And remand.
I think we're okay with remanding.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay.
Reverse the AT, timely claim and appeal remand.
We will remand this case.
Case number 3319753, Commissioner Trevino.
The AT decision is supportable. The claimant filed harassment grievances, which were never resolved. The claimant and her witness provided credible testimony that the employer would take no action on employer's grievances and would claim the grievances were lost. The employer's testimony regarding why the employer took no action on the claimant's grievances were inconsistent and not credible. The claimant transferred to another position to avoid her harassers, but the harassment continued. Since the harassment was affecting the claimant's physical health, and since the claimant made a good faith effort to resolve her complaints prior to quitting, the claimant quit with good cause connected with work. Affirm the AT, no voluntary leaving, chargeback.
We should reverse the appeal tribunal decision. While the claimant may have filed 3 grievances, HR never received them because they were withdrawn from the system. The employer learned of the claimant's grievances from her resignation, at which time the employer investigated the complaints and determined that they were unfounded. Thus, since the claimant has not met her burden of proving harassment or lack of action from the employer, she quit without good cause connected with the work. Should reverse the AT decision, voluntary leaving, no chargeback, adequate employer response.
Reverse the AT, voluntary leaving, no chargeback, adequate employer response.
Short form dissent, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Case number 3357947, Commissioner Trevino.
The decision is not correct. The claimant filed a timely appeal regarding the job separation. The claimant requested FMLA so that he could take leave of absence to help care for his sick mother. Right before the claimant was scheduled to fly out, the employer denied his leave request. However, the employer's HR rep encouraged the claimant to continue with his travel plans and assured him that the employer would take him back when he returned. Following the employer's advice, the claimant left to care for his mother. But when the claimant returned or attempted to return to his job, the store manager told him that business was too slow to take him back. Since the claimant left the job based on the employer's advice and reassurance that he could return to the job, this was not voluntary quit. Reverse the AT, timely claimant appeal, no voluntary leaving, chargeback.
I should modify the appeal tribunal decision. First, I do not dispute that the claimant filed a timely appeal. Regarding the job separation, although the claimant had a very compelling personal reason for requesting leave, his request for FMLA leave was not approved by the employer. While leaving work for several months while work was still available, the claimant initiated the job separation. Because the claimant voluntarily left his job for a personal reason, the claimant quit without good cause connected with the work. We should modify the AT decision, timely claimant appeal, voluntary leaving, no chargeback.
Modify the AT, timely claimant appeal, voluntary leaving, no chargeback.
Short form dissent, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Case number 3362715, Commissioner Trevino.
The decision is not supportable. The claimant was receiving benefits at the time he began working for this employer and worked for less than 4 weeks before quitting due to excessive commuting distance. The claimant attempted to commute, but found that it was over 2 hours a day and was costing him a significant amount of money in gas. The claimant should not be penalized for trying to find a permanent position that would allow him to cease needing benefits. The claimant is entitled to benefits under section 207.045 G1. Reverse the AT, no voluntary leaving, change employer's name and account number. In the alternative, since testimony regarding 207.045 G1 was not well developed, I could agree to rehear this case to fully develop the facts regarding that issue.
We should modify the appeal tribunal decision. First, I agree that the employer's name and account number should be changed. Regarding the job separation, the claimant was aware of the commute when he accepted the job. Furthermore, the new job paid more than his maximum wage demand. By quitting due to dissatisfaction with the commute time and distance, the claimant quit without good cause connected with the work. Should modify the AT decision, voluntary leaving, change the employer's name and account number, and send a memo to investigate whether the claimant correctly reported his wages.
Modify the AT, voluntary leaving, change employer name and account number, memo as recommended by staff.
Short form dissent, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Case number 3368442, Commissioner Trevino.
The decision is not supportable. The claimant was discharged for an incident that occurred over 2 months prior. The employer admitted the vice president of sales was aware of the incident at the time and did not discharge the claimant because he did not want to lose a salesperson. Additionally, the claimant was the only party to provide firsthand testimony, and he has provided that the other individual initiated the incident by making physical contact with the claimant's face. Despite the other individual instigating the physical altercation, he was not discharged. Since the employer was aware of the incident for over 2 months and did not discharge the other individual for the altercation, the claimant's discharge was for reasons other than misconduct. Reverse the AT, valid claim, no misconduct, chargeback, void adequate response.
We should modify the appeal tribunal decision. First, I agree that the claim was valid. Regarding the job separation, the claimant admitted to engaging in a physical altercation with a subordinate from the warehouse after he had been specifically instructed to stay out of the warehouse business. Per the claimant's testimony, the employee in question had already left the claimant's office, thereby removing himself from a tense situation. Yet the claimant pursued him outside of the office and continued the heated discussion. The claimant escalated the interaction from simply verbal to physical violence and had to be pulled away from the subordinate. This is corroborated by the written account of the victim, who also reported the incident to local law enforcement. Thus, because the claimant failed to follow instructions and initiated a physical altercation, he mismanaged his position of employment. We should therefore modify the AT decision, valid claim, misconduct, no chargeback, sever the adequate response issue.
Modify the AT, valid claim, misconduct, no chargeback, sever, adequate response.
Short form dissent, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Case, case number 3407995, Commissioner Demerson.
We should reverse the appeal tribunal decision. The claimant was discharged for slapping a client. The claimant admitted her behavior, but tried to minimize it by characterizing it as a caution of love, a smack of correction, and a smack of love. Because the claimant physically disciplined a client in her care in violation of the employer's policy, she was discharged for misconduct connected with the work. We should reverse the AT decision, misconduct, no chargeback, adequate employer response. In the alternative, because of their surveillance video of the final incident and the employer is offering to provide this footage, we should rehear this case for review and admission of the video recording.
The decision is correct. The employer failed to present any firsthand evidence to show that the incident included any abuse or mistreatment of the client. The employer also failed to point to any specific policy that the claimant's actions violated. Affirm the AT, no misconduct, chargeback.
Reverse the AT, misconduct, no chargeback, adequate employer response.
Short form dissent, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Case number 3411069, Commissioner Trevino.
The claimant has established good cause as she did not receive a hearing notice. Regarding the timeliness issue, the claimant received TWC misinformation, and her appeal is timely under Rule 37(i)(1). The claimant and the employer testified that the claimant performed no work and earned no wages from October 2019. The employer's third-party payroll administrator accidentally continued to issue checks after the claimant ceased working, but these checks were never cashed and later reversed. As such, the earnings adjustment was not appropriate. Reverse the AT, good cause, timely appeal, no earnings adjustment.
The AT decision is supportable with one modification. We agree that the claimant had good cause to miss the first hearing, and also that the claimant's appeal should be held timely. On the merits of the earning adjustment issue, the evidence shows that the claimant was receiving regular paychecks while filing claim for benefits, and that during that time, she was working on her business in an effort to revive it. Accordingly, we should modify the AT decision. The claimant had good cause to miss the first hearing. The claimant filed a timely appeal. The earning adjustments were correct, and an overpayment of $1,800.
Modify the AT, claimant established good cause for AT1, timely claimant appeal, earnings adjustment, overpayment.
Short form dissent, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Case number 3411108, Commissioner Trevino.
The claimant has established good cause as she did not receive the hearing notice. Regarding the timeliness issue, the claimant received TWC misinformation and her appeal is timely under Rule 37(i)(1). The claimant and the employer testified the claimant performed no work and earned no wages after October 2019. The employer's third-party payroll administrator accidentally continued to issue checks after the claimant ceased working, but these checks were never cashed and later reversed. As such, the earnings adjustment was not appropriate. Reverse the AT, good cause, timely appeal, no earnings adjustment, and void waiver.
As in the companion case 3411069, the AT decision is supportable with one modification. We agree that the claimant had good cause to miss the first hearing, and also that the claimant's appeal should be held timely. On the merits of the earnings adjustment issue, the claimant was receiving regular paychecks while filing claims for benefits. During that time, she was working on her business in an effort to get it back up and running. Regarding the overpayment waiver issue, The overpayment should not be waived because the claimant received wage payments in return for working on her business. Accordingly, we should modify the AT decision. The claimant had good cause to miss the first hearing. Claimant filed a timely appeal. The earnings adjustments were correct. Overpayment of $2,360 and the waiver of the overpayment was properly denied.
Modify the AT, claimant established good cause for AT1, timely claimant appeal, earnings adjustment, overpayment, waiver denied.
Short form dissent, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Case number 341119, Commissioner Trevino.
The claimant has established good cause as she did not receive the hearing notice. Regarding the timeliness issue, the claimant received TWC misinformation and her appeal was timely or is timely under Rule 37(i)(1). The claimant and the employer testified the claimant performed no work and earned no wages after October 2019. The employer's third-party payroll administrator accidentally continued to issue checks after the claimant ceased working, but these checks were never cashed and later reversed. As such, the earnings adjustment was not appropriate. Reverse the AT, good cause, timely appeal, no earnings adjustment.
As with the two companion cases, the AT decision is supportable with one modification. Again, we agree that the claimant had good cause to miss the first hearing and also that the claimant's appeal should be held timely. On the merits of the earning adjustment issue, the evidence shows that the claimant was receiving her normal paychecks while filing claims for benefits and that while receiving benefits, she was working on her business in an effort to revive it. The pay was thus for work performed. Accordingly, we should modify the AT decision. The claimant had good cause to miss the first hearing. Claimant filed a timely appeal. The earnings adjustments were correct, and an overpayment of $900.
Modify the AT, claimant established good cause for AT1, timely claimant appeal, earnings adjustment, overpayment.
Short form dissent, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Case number 3426342, Commissioner Demerson.
The appeal tribunal decision should be reversed. The employer provided its assistant custodial supervisor at the AT hearing, who clearly stated that the claimant had admitted he had thrown away the shop vacs in question. Another employer witness, the director of facilities and maintenance, stated that the assistant custodian supervisor apprised him of the claimant's admission. The director of facilities and maintenance stated that when he spoke to the claimant about the vacuums in question, the claimant claimed that it was another employee who had thrown them away and that the claimant was trying to cover for that employee. Whether the claimant had thrown the vacuums away in a manner that violated the employer's policy or whether he had misrepresented information to the employer, both actions were cause for disciplinary action up to and including termination, according to the employer. As such, the claimant mismanaged his position of employment, which amounted to work-connected misconduct. We should therefore reverse the AT decision, misconduct, reimburse an employer not billed, adequate employer response.
The decision is correct. The claimant denied under oath that he threw the shop vac away or that he told anyone else to throw the shop vac away. A coworker testified that he had left the shop vac outside and that it had just disappeared, but confirmed that the claimant had not told him to throw the shop vac away. The employer failed to present any direct evidence to show that the claimant either threw the shop vac away or was otherwise responsible for the shop vac being thrown away. Therefore, the employer did not meet its burden of showing any misconduct on the claimant's part. Affirm the AT, no misconduct, bill reimbursing employer.
Affirm the AT, no misconduct, bill reimbursing employer.
Short form dissent.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And that was the last case pulled for additional discussion on docket 16. You should have received the UI short form dissent list for docket 16.
I move. We accept staff recommendations on the remaining UI cases on docket 16.
And I second the chairman's motion, except for the cases on which I'm dissenting, as reflected in the UI short form dissent list for docket 16.
And I concur with the chairman's motion, except for those cases on which I am dissenting, as reflected on the UI short form dissent list for docket 16.
Motion passes with the exceptions noted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other order of business come before the commission? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Move or adjourn.
I second the motion to adjourn.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn and we're adjourned. Thank you.